Okay, this is the last piece of dividing decimals. We've done dividing decimals with um, quotients, with decimal quotients. We've done dividing whole numbers by whole numbers with decimal quotients. And now the last piece of this is dividing decimals by decimals. Okay, and so here's our objectives here that I need you to be able to do is divide a decimal by a decimal. So we're going to highlight that with our highlighter. Okay, make sure if you're at home you have your pen. I don't care what color, your pencil, your highlighter, and grid paper. Okay, I can divide a whole number by a decimal. Okay, and then I can solve real world problems by dividing decimals by decimals. Okay, so this part right here is very, very important. We need to know that when we divide a number by a decimal, move the place of your decimal like shown below. I know. But here's the thing. We got to put more words to that. Okay? So meaning your divisor, the number on the outside of my little house here, it has to be a whole number before you can proceed with division. So when you move this decimal, so I have 1 and 7/10 divided by 2 and 5/10. So you need to make this divisor a whole number, so you move the decimal until you get to you're behind the last digit. So I only moved it once. So that means of your dividend, you must move that decimal once. So now it looks like that. And then when you actually divide, it looks like this. Okay? Same thing right here. I have 36 divided by 32 hundredths. I'm going to move my decimal 2 times because that makes 32 hundredths a whole number. But then look, I have 36 as a whole number, and we got to remember that a whole number, to make it a decimal, you just put a decimal to the back, to the right of the last digit. And then when you move it, you have 2 gaps, which you're going to put a 0. You're going to fill in those holes with zeros. So you end up with 3,600 divided by 32. Okay? So as usual, we're going to pull out our grid paper to do this work, okay? But what I'd like us to do, we're going to go these steps to set it up, and then we'll transfer it to our grid paper. So I have 4 and 208 thousandths divided by 8 hundredths. So as I build, and if you forget the order of this, look at your notes. Look at your notes in your interactive notebook that tells us how to set up a division problem. So inside is going to be 4.208 divided by 8 hundredths, okay? So you can get all fun with your colored pens or whatever. I'm going to do that. I have to make 8 hundredths a whole number. So I'm going to take my decimal and move it until I can go no more. So that was twice. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to move it 1, 2, okay? And like they did up here, we're going to rewrite it so it's nice and clean. So now, you see I'm not adding any zeros in front of my 8. It's a whole number now. And then I have 420.8, and then move that decimal to the top. And that's it. And now we can transfer it to our grid paper to solve. So this is my I do. Okay? And this is what I've got. Remember, each digit gets its own box, but decimals only get their own box when we're adding and subtracting. Moving that decimal point up right away. And kind of what we talked about, the whole number divided by whole number. When there's a decimal in your quotient already, if there's a decimal in your dividend already, you don't add another one. Just room for 1. So now we can solve it. 8 cannot go into 4, but 42 divided by 8, let's see, without going over 5 times. Okay, so 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract 42 minus 40 is 2. Bring down the 0. Okay? 20 divided by 8. Let's see, 8 goes into 20 twice without going over. So 2 times 8 is 16. 20 minus 16 is 4. And then bring down my 8. 8 goes into 48. It's beautiful. 6 times 8 is 48. Subtract. And there it is. All right. So we got the division part down. We just got to know how to set it up each time. There we go. Okay. So look at these we do's. Go back over here. I have 9 and 1/10 divided by 400ths. So again, knowing where to set it up. On the outside, 400ths. And then I have my 9 and 1/10. Okay, so this 400ths has to become a whole number. So I'm going to go 1, 2. Same thing over here. 1, 2. Our example up here tells us to add a 0 in that hole. Okay, and we're going to rewrite it. You have to keep that 0, okay? It's important. Now we're going to transfer this 910 divided by 4 to this, okay? So four goes into 9. Yes, twice. 8. Bring down my 1. 4 goes into 11 twice again. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract. 11 minus 8 is 3. Bring down your 0. Okay. And then 4 goes, am I doing this right? So I'm doing this. 1, 1, 8, 3. Yep. 4 goes into 30 because here it's gonna be ugly. 4 goes into 30. You see 4 times 5, 4 times 6, 4 times 7 is 28. Okay, so now we're kind of combining what we were just doing, right? I have a remainder. And remember, you can't stop. There's no such thing as remainders in 6th grade. That was an all of 5th grade thing. And so we had to add our decimal, 0. Bring it down. Okay. So 4 goes into 20 5 times. 0. There you go. Okay. We're going to do one more redo. Back over here. Okay. 64 divided by 1 and 25 hundredths. So 64 and then I'm going to move my decimal to make that a whole number. 1, 2. And then to the right here, I'm going to go 1, 2, just like our example up here. I've got to add those zeros, okay? So rewriting it, 125. Okay, it's cleaned. We're going to put it over here. Oh, that should have been an I do. Should have been the we do. I'm so sorry, guys. I got carried away. And the other we do. So here we go. Okay, 125 does not go into 6 or 64, but it does go into 640. So let's think. 125 plus 125 is 250. 375. 500. Oh, right, here we are. I'm going to go over here. How many times? And it's okay to do this. 125 times 5. Let's try that first. 12. Oh, look at that. That works. That works. So we're going to say 5 times. So 5 times 125 is 625. And we get 15. So then I got to bring down my 0. And then 125 goes into 150 one time. Okay? And we subtract, and we have 25. That's where our decimal 0 comes in. Decimal 0. Okay? And then 125 goes into 250 twice. That's it. Yay! Okay. See how it all kind of builds. Now, on your own, if you're not with us, you need to do these 2 you-dos on your grid paper and show me. Okay? And show me. And then, let's go to our second page. Go to our second page. So, we'll just leave space on this page for our 2 you-dos. Okay? That we can check over. You can check over with me. And let's move to our second page. Right here. All right. This one, this was, yeah. We always cross this one out. It's been a doozy. It's always been an ugly doozy. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to do this one we do together on a separate grid paper. Okay, but like we just did, we'll do our redo. All right, but we're gonna talk about it first, and we're gonna work through how we're gonna set it up, and then you're gonna do it. So the snail traveled 4/10 inches in a quarter of an hour. Divide to determine how far the snail will travel after 1 hour. Okay, so this is the thing. What are we dividing? Are you thinking about this? Okay, think time up. So, one thing I want you to think about, so they're saying that the snail traveled, we're going to highlight 4/10 inches in 1/4 of an hour. Divide to determine, I'm dividing the travel after 1 hour, so travel after time. Inches divided by hours, okay? So we're going to start with this. Inches divided by hours, okay? We're going to set it up. And then we're going to set it up as we're doing our problem. So we have in the house 4/10 divided by 25 hundredths, okay? Now we have to make this a whole number. So 1, 2, and then same thing with my dividend, 1, 2, fill in that hole with a 0. So let's be neat about it, friends. Move it over here. Now I have so now I have 40 divided by 25. Now we're going to transfer this to our grid paper with our second redo. Okay, what do we say? 4/10 divided by, no, 40 divided by 25, excuse me. Okay, 25 cannot go into 4, but 25 can go into 40 one time. Okay, and we get 15. But now we have run out of digits in our dividend. That's when we apply the decimal, 0. Bring it down. Okay, and how many times does 25 go into 150? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, by 6. So 6 times 25 was 150. You have 1.6. So let's go back and see what we mean by that, right? Put the you do right here so that we can come back to that, or you can do it on your own. So yes, you'll do the you do on your own, but we're going to write our statement here. So how far will a snail travel after 1 hour? 1.6 inches. Do not forget that unit of measurement. All right? And then our you do. An 11.2 foot sub sandwich is divided into 0.35 foot long pieces at a party. How many pieces will there be? So they're kind of already telling you what you're dividing, because they say the 11.2 is divided. So this is your dividend, and you have your divisor. All right, so that's for you. If you have any questions, come see me.